One of the most intriguing revelations that we already know about Avatar 4 is that Sigourney Weaver's Kiri will step into the role of narrator. To me, this could signal a shift in how director James Cameron wants audiences to experience the next chapter on Pandora, or more importantly, how the next movie could shape up thematically. Weaver herself confirmed in interviews that she had known about this choice for over a decade, which tells us this wasn't a last-minute decision and that it was baked into the long-term blueprint of the saga from the very beginning. Up until now, the narration has always been a signal of what emotional journey anchors each film. Jake Sully guided us through the first two movies, Loak then took over in Fire and Ash, and now the torch passes over to Weaver's Kiri. This could suggest that Avatar 4 is pivoting towards a deeper spiritual presence with Eywa, and then linked to what we learn about Earth, with the planet said to be a bigger focus in the final two films. So in this video, I'm going to be discussing what we know about Kiri's character as Avatar 4's narrator, and the potential Earth scenes in that film. Before I get into it though, if you want to keep up to date on any of my Avatar content, then don't forget to support this upload by giving it a like rating and subscribing to the channel. But without further ado, let's dive deeper into what we could be getting with Avatar 4. So with Kiri becoming the narrator in Avatar 4, it raises the question of why her character. Well, in the last few Avatar films, Kiri has been portrayed as the most spiritually attuned character in the franchise, someone whose connection to Eywa goes far beyond the rituals and neural link that every Na'vi shares. She experiences visions and displays abilities that border on the supernatural. She describes her connection to Eywa saying, "I hear her breathing, I hear her heartbeat, she's so close, she's just there, like a word about to be spoken." Now, as seen in the previous two films, her unique connection to Eywa gave her special abilities to interact with the flora and fauna of Pandora. So if she's the one guiding the audience through Avatar 4, it strongly suggests that the story will dive deeper into the metaphysical side of the world through Eywa, the neural network, and the extended mysteries surrounding Kiri's own origin. For a while, many fans had believed that she may have been a kind of chosen figure, someone Eywa is actively shaping for a larger purpose. But when we got to Fire and Ash, we learnt a lot more about her connection. The film confirms that Kiri is not simply Grace Augustine's child, but a genetic clone of Grace's avatar body, created through a process that even the Na'vi interpret as an act of Eywa rather than science. This revelation reframes Kiri as something unprecedented on Pandora, a being who is biologically Na'vi, yet spiritually intertwined with Eywa in a way that no other character has been. Her visions, her ability to sense the planet's living network, and her instinctive command of its energy are not random gifts, but signs that she is Eywa's chosen instrument, someone born to bridge the divide between the natural world and the turmoil brought by humans. The film only deepens upon this by showing how Kiri's powers intensify during moments of crisis, especially in the final acts where she channels Eywa's force with a clarity and purpose that no Na'vi has ever displayed. Eywa in turn is portrayed less as a distant deity and more as an active, responsive presence, one that interweaves through Kiri when Pandora itself is threatened. So this dynamic suggests that Eywa is evolving, adapting, and perhaps even preparing Pandora for a future where the balance between destruction and renewal becomes more fragile than ever. Avatar 3 positions Kiri not just as a gifted child, but as a living extension of Eywa's will, a symbol of Pandora's resilience, and a kind of leader of the spiritual and ecological battles still yet to come. The film's treatment of their connection invites reflection on themes of identity, destiny, and the cost of being chosen, making Kiri's journey one of the most compelling threads going forward. If we get narration from her perspective at the start of the next film, and even throughout parts of Avatar 4, it could go deeper into what that purpose is, or at least bring us closer to understanding why she exists in the form she does. Jake Sully's voice framed the first two films as stories of transformation and belonging. Then in Fire and Ash, Loak's narration centered on identity, insecurity, and the struggle to prove oneself. Kiri's voice, by contrast, could be more introspective, mystical, and emotionally complex. So if Cameron is handing the narrative reins to the Sully children one by one, then to me this signals that the saga is evolving from a story about a soldier who found a new home to a story about the next generation inheriting a world under threat. Kiri's perspective could frame Avatar 4 as a turning point where the younger characters stop reacting to the world Jake and Neytiri raised them in and start shaping their own destiny. Another direction to think about is that Kiri's narration could be hinting at a darker, more internally driven conflict. Her abilities are powerful, but they're also frightening, both to her and to the people around her. She's caught between two worlds, and that is the physical reality of the Na'vi and the spiritual consciousness of Eywa. So if she's the one opening the story and narrating in parts throughout it, then we may be entering a new chapter where the biggest threat isn't just the human invaders, but something deeper and more existential. Perhaps it's the crisis within Eywa herself, a revelation about Pandora's past, or maybe it's linked to what's coming in Avatar 5 with the mention from Cameron of Neytiri travelling to Earth. I think that the latter option is the most likely route that it's all heading towards, and I think it's going to be about whether Eywa can help both the Na'vi and the humans, not just one particular species. So as we look ahead to what Kiri's narration might mean for Avatar 4, it's impossible not to go into one of the biggest confirmed shifts for the franchise going forward. And that is what I mentioned before about the story finally taking us to Earth. Before his tragic passing, producer John Lando had openly stated that the fourth film would move part of the action from Pandora to the human homeworld, describing Earth as a place suffering from overpopulation and severe resource depletion. This isn't just a change of scenery for the franchise, as it's a thematic pivot that reframes where the entire saga's story could be heading come the very end. For 3 films, we've seen humanity's desperation only through the lens of the RDA and their militarized exploitation of Pandora. But Avatar 4 and then Avatar 5, after a proposed 8-year timeskip, are likely going to show us the root of that desperation. When you combine this with Kiri's deeply spiritual perspective as a narrator, it could suggest that the film may contrast Pandora's living, interconnected ecosystem with a dying Earth that has lost its balance. Her voice guiding us through that contrast could make scenes on or about Earth feel more emotionally charged as a result. So in thinking about the significant time jump and there being a potential bold new direction for the franchise in the final 2 films, one theory I have is that Kiri's narration will frame Earth not simply as the villain's home, but as a tragic mirror of what Pandora could become if its people fail to protect it. Lando had emphasised that director James Cameron didn't want to paint a purely bleak picture of Earth's future, which opens the door to the idea that the Sully family, or most likely Neytiri, who is said to travel to Earth in those later films, may see the good in some humans who are fighting for change. It would be another flip of the dynamics at play, challenging the Sky People bad and Na'vi good dynamic. We just saw the Na'vi dynamics challenged in Avatar 3 with the introduction of Varong and the Ash People, so I could definitely see this further happening in some way, shape or form. Like I said in my other theory video a few weeks back, beyond what we already know about Kiri, I think we will find out that Eywa lives within her in physical form, hence the supernatural things we've seen her do, and the immense connection to Eywa she has. She would essentially become a guiding force for the future of both the Na'vi and the humans. With Eywa connected to every living being on the planet, something that links in with the final shot in Avatar 3 of Pandora being lit up, I think Kiri understands that the only way forward for both the Na'vi and the humans is for them to both coexist on Pandora and all be connected through Eywa. Essentially, the humans would have to leave their dying planet and start anew on a planet that opens all their eyes up to the possibilities beyond conflict and monetary value in Pandora's resources. Jake saying to Quaritch in Fire and Ash that he needs to open his eyes could be a hint towards this too, and then by Avatar 5, we'd see that on a much bigger level with the remaining people of Earth. After much conflict, wars and working things out, the Na'vi would then accept them onto Pandora to live in harmony and evolve with them. I think this is actually the endgame of Avatar because it would be the logical reversal of how the series began. Humans came to Pandora to colonize and plunder its resources, being aggressors against the Na'vi there. And by Avatar 5, the quest for Eywa is essentially the quest for peace in finding a way for both humans and the Na'vi to live together on Pandora. Because Kiri is the biological daughter of Grace Augustine's Avatar body, many fans believe her existence is linked to human science as much as Na'vi spirituality. Furthermore, showing Earth through Kiri's eyes could set up revelations about Grace's past, the scientific programs that created the Avatar technology, or even the deeper reasons why Kiri possesses abilities no other Na'vi has. Again, I think this is because a part of Eywa lives inside of her, but they could take another route to reveal something like this. And if Avatar 4 explores Earth's environmental collapse, it could also reveal why Eywa allowed Kiri to be born and put a part of her inside of Kiri, acting as a bridge between two worlds that desperately need to understand each other. So with Cameron having planned the saga years in advance, the proposed Earth plotline would then make a lot of sense. Ultimately, I think the introduction of Earth in Avatar 4 widens the lens from a single moon and its people under threat to two species on different worlds on the brink of collapse. Our human species and the one that could be our interlinked future. And with Kiri being the narrator, the next film has the opportunity to explore that shift with a voice that is both deeply emotional and spiritually attuned. Her existence, her power, and her knowledge through Eywa could transform the ending of the whole saga, where both the people of Earth and the Na'vi of Pandora may be able to be connected through Eywa and live together on the same planet. I do think there's going to be more conflict and character deaths coming throughout all of this, as I discussed in my other Avatar 4 theory video the other week. But I do think that there will be light at the end of the tunnel and a sense of hope for both species come the end of Avatar 5. Whatever direction Cameron does take though, the combination of Kiri's narration and Earth's extended introduction could suggest that Avatar 4 and 5 will have the most ambitious shifts for the saga. But that was my video discussing Kiri as the narrator and the potential Earth scenes in James Cameron's Avatar 4. The fourth film is one that's shaping up to be the biggest shift in the saga since Jake first opened his eyes on Pandora in the original. With Kiri stepping in as the narrator and Earth finally entering the story, the franchise is clearly moving into deeper, stranger, and far more ambitious territory. Whether these threads lead to revelation, conflict, or something we can't yet imagine, one thing is for certain, and that is that James Cameron is gearing up to change the way we see both Pandora and Earth. But let me know down below in the comment section what you think we might see surrounding the character of Kiri as the next film's narrator, and also what you think towards the potential Earth scenes in both Avatar 4 and 5. For much more videos and news on James Cameron's Avatar saga, then subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications. Also, if you enjoyed this video, remember to leave a like rating and follow me on social media via the links in the description. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I've been Cortex, and as always, make some noise.